Welcome to the Rainbow Netball League. As you can see, action is already underway between Belvedere Teachers College going against the Correctional Queens. Correctional Queens in white and blue, Belvedere in their maroon and their bibs which have the maroon color, and we are in for the first throw-in, and it's in favor of Belvedere Teachers College. As the action is already underway, we're going to be giving you the lineups as the show progresses, as we introduce you to our ladies on the court, the ladies that are bringing us the entertainment today. And as we can see, a lot is already happening, a lot of commotion. Definitely some of the Belvedere defense trying to get the best of these Correctional Queens, who were pretty dominant in a previous game that they played against Tenex. Will they be able to maintain that dominance in this with this team that they seem to be at par with when it comes to stature and how they are built? And now we're going to start with the Belvedere Teachers College lineup. In a goal shooter, we have Alice Nyamukapa. Goal attack, Tariro Chawora. In wing attack, Fortunate Guranungo. In the center, we have Mosandipa. And in wing defense, Rejoice Maponga. Goal defense, Dorothy Zahemba. And in goalkeeper, we have Winnet Mbombe. And we are seeing that Correctional Queens goal shooter, Pretty Banda, already making the necessary moves to make sure that their team are set and ready to roll in this game. They already put Correctional Queens in a lead, and there she is with another attempt, Pretty Banda. Before you even finish speaking a sentence, she already has one in the court, and quite an interception from the center, Sandra Murevesa from Correctional Queens. That has meant a turnover, but it seems as though the ball was given back to Belvedere, and another turnover. The game is moving so fast, even faster than I'm speaking, but it shows you the intent and intensity of the game, making sure that the ladies, all of them, understand what's at stake, what's the catch in this one. This is just the start of, this is the first quarter of the three that are to come, and you need to make sure at the start, make sure you start well in order to finish well. But in the middle, many of the people don't talk about what happens in the middle. Anything can happen, and you need to make sure that you're always on point throughout the game. Correctional Queens with a throw over and quite a slip up from the goal attack, Tariro Chaora, causing Belvedere to take advantage of this one. Will they be able to make it past the middle third? They attempt to get to score in their opponent's goal, but a failure on their part. And we're seeing that Felicitas Kwangwa making that pass, one defender who has really helped the Zimbabwean national team make it far when it comes to the World Cups. Now we're here for another center pass, and this time around it's coming in from Sandipa. They are trying to make as few passes as possible to get to the goal, but it seems as though Felicitas Kwangwa is not giving them any space to breathe, and it's a turnover, fast-paced ball like we have seen before. But on the other hand, the goalkeeper, Winnet Mbombe, making that interception and giving their team an opportunity to score in what has been a one-sided game in the past minutes that have passed. Correctional Queens on the leading end, Belvedere trailing and trying to score. Fails again in this attempt. That could have been an offside. Yes, it was an offside. Now the first free pass from the wing defender to the goal attack, Tariro Chaora. They need to make as few passes as possible during that middle third if they're going to make a difference, if they're going to be able to score as soon as possible. We've got a defender in Felicitas Kwangwa making it hard even for the goal attack to score or to pass the ball. The referee calling for a change in personnel for both the two teams. And also it means a change in positions for some of them. And the game is resumed with the center pass from Sandra Murevesa. 1, 2, 3 passes into the goal circle and an attempt to score. She gets an opportunity for a free shot and she capitalizes on that one. Netball is a beautiful game, and we encourage you guys to come through, watch and support. This is the Rainbow Netball League. It travels all over, giving an opportunity to every girl child to get exposed, to play netball and to be empowered. As our motto says, empowering the girl child through netball. Turnover for Belvedere, and missed shot, but rather still they retain possession even after a mistake that they had made. Another turnover as well. Seems as though Belvedere need to get their head in the game if they're going to get anything out of it. 5-1 is how the scoreboard reads after 6 minutes, of which it says a lot when we talk about a goal per minute. Belvedere are trailing in almost every area. It's always good for any team to come for a game with the mindset that they're going to win, and I know definitely that affects how they play. For Belvedere, I don't know if they received that kind of pep talk to get them up to speed with the game. But it may be that Correctional Queens are just that good. Just that good of a team. Throw in from the center, intercepted by Correctional Queens player. But we are back again at it, making so many passes. But it's quite good this time around. They managed to draw a foul closer to the goal area, but to no fruition. Every attempt that they are making, as the defenders, Felicitas Kwangwa and Amanda Gumiso, breathing down their neck, trying to move as quickly as possible, is the anthem of the game for Correctional Queens, as maybe they are understanding the task at hand. And with the coming in of the new rules as of January 2024, netball has been easier to understand and a bit clearer, as some of the rules were refreshed. It means that it makes the job easier for the umpires to call for certain fouls made during the game. It also meant that the players don't have to fake injuries for substitutions to take place. They can just do it anyhow. But this is just the first quarter, and we might be seeing substitutions happening a bit later on, although we have seen 2 already taking place. Some movement, some interception. Bit of a squabble there from the 2 Belvedere players. In the past, if they were of the opposite team, it would have resulted in a toss-up. But in this year, a 50-50 is no longer being called for. You just have to be strong enough to retain possession. And we have Pretty Banda under the net, face to face with the net, and she gets one for the team. It's all about those moments, those 1, 2, 3s, makes the game seem even simpler than ever. As we all know, every child, no matter how old, they know their 1, 2, 3, their ABCs. And that is what we are seeing from Correctional Queens. And Pretty Banda leading on the score sheet, bringing them 11-1, which speaks a lot as to what is happening on the court today. We are at Belvedere Teachers College here in the Rainbow Netball League, under the motto, empowering the girl child through netball. But we are also seeing that some men's teams are being formed. We have our own men's national team in netball. So it's also bridging that gap and bringing in gender equality. We say it in football. Women fought so hard to be recognized in that sphere. And we're also seeing that men as well are coming through and making a name for themselves in the world of netball, which has been mostly dominated by women over the centuries. And Pretty Banda for Correctional Queens on the scoreboard. Center pass from Musandipa. The foul has been called for. A bit of caution coming in from the umpire, who initiates play. We're up and running. One might wish and hope that they're able to get through, but it seems as though they are making more mistakes than they are making attempts at scoring, of which is a red flags if we are to talk about relationships today. A really, really big red flag. Swift movement coming in from Belvedere Teachers College as they are trying so hard to get close to goal, but the mistakes, they are following them. They are stuck on them like a parasite, as we are seeing that the simplest of mistakes as footworks is what caused this turnover, which resulted in a goal, bringing the tally to 14-1 in favor of Correctional Queens. And we are back at it again under the opponent's net. And the Correctional Queens are scoring. It's almost like a goals galore. Quite an interception from Dorothy Zayemba, making a turnover in favor of Correctional Queens. And it's another basket. I don't know how we're gonna end, where we're gonna end today, but it seems as though it's going to be very high scoring, only favoring one team. Some say luck favors the prepared. Every time you enter or you come for a game, make sure you're prepared for what's at hand. One might think Belvedere might have, that advantage, since this is where they usually practice and train. But it seems as though the visitors are getting the better of them. I think it's the decision making, the 3-second rule in netball. You need to be prepared to make those critical decisions, know who you're going to pass the ball to as early as possible, and also making it easier for your teammate to spot you, to see you. You need to open up. This is a very big court, and the ones that designed it knew that you needed space to open up. And for Belvedere, they need to understand the practicality of that. You need to open up. Make it easier for your teammate to pass the ball to you. What a miscalculation coming in from the wing attack. Fortunate Guranungo. And which is very costly, because Correctional Queens haven't been wasting balls from start. Now we are in the 13th minute, going into the 14th. We're almost coming to the end of the first quarter. Correctional Queens are leading 18-1. Now it's 19. Belvedere have a lot to talk about in the upcoming 3-minute break that they have. They need to set some standards. At least they need to get comfortable on this court. This is their home court. They need to be a bit more comfortable, take control of the game. Make sure that In the middle court, they are opening up. As we all know, in netball, you can't pass the ball over a third, which is a foul. And we are now going for a break. And it is Correctional Queens leading here at Belvedere Teachers College. And we're back again with the center pass coming in from Sandam Revesa for Correctional Queens. And in just a few seconds, they're already adding on to the tally on the scoreboard, as we saw on the break that the coach for Belvedere had a lot to say, but was just stunned by the poor performance of his team. And on the other hand, the coach for Correctional Queens just had to come through, say a few words, and then leave, because when you know that your team is doing everything right, there's definitely little to nothing to say. It was the teammates giving each other a bit of a heads up about what's happening on the court of play. And we are back again on Pretty Banda, who has been exceptional. The rate of accuracy has been outstanding for her. Crisscross straight into the box. I remember someone talking about the importance of having tall shooters in a game. It's quite easier to get those overhead passes to them, and which increases your chances of scoring. Belvedere on the move, an attempt on goal, which she choose to pass or score. She goes ahead and tries to score. Doesn't do anything to get that rebound. She seems as though she's already tired. That is not how we play netball. You persevere until the end. You need to understand what's the goal here. This is only the second quarter. A lot can still happen if you can put your mind to it. Sometimes you feel like these players on the court should be also hearing what we're trying, the message that we're trying to convey to them. Almost running out of time. Turnover. Quite a silly mistake. That is not what you would be expecting from a professional player in netball. The scoreboard reading 24-2. Quite a big margin. But this is only the second quarter. Anything can happen. Everyone waiting anxiously for the restarting whistle. And it's Belvedere on the forefront, and quite an interception for the goal defender, Dorothy Zaemba. I think she's learning a lot from the very experienced Silvester Squanga. I'm sure they'll be sharing one or two ideas there in their own goal third, trying to restrict the opponents from scoring. If you're a fan of netball, make sure you come through and watch these games. It's not enough just to put a like, but one of these days, make sure you come through and support the ladies, empower them to do more, because we know of the many sporting disciplines that we have in Zimbabwe, it's netball that has maybe made a very big positive impact on the world status. Last World Cup, I believe they finished 13th, which is quite good. looking at maybe we can say the support that they are receiving in terms of infrastructure. They are doing a lot with the few that they have. We've got a player down. In goal attack, Tariro Chaora. Hopefully, she isn't hurt that much. She's up on her feet. Is she able to continue playing? And she says she is. Strong woman we have on the court today. In a few moments, she was on the ground. Now she's on an attempt to score, and she does exactly that. Every time you get a player on the court, it's all about the mentality, and I can tell you she is very strong mentally with that comeback that she has just displayed. As few passes as possible is what you might try to accomplish, but it hasn't been so for Belvedere. They haven't been opening up as much as they should. This is a team effort. It's not just one person on the court, but they need to help each other. They need to support each other all the way. As we are seeing that Correctional Queen are on a run, 29-4. The gap is continuously increasing. Now we're at 30. It's continuously increasing. If Belvedere don't settle into this game, we're going to be seeing a very huge margin. We know that in any game, there's only one winner and one loser. But you don't want the margin to be that big. You need to always be protecting your dignity, if I can say that. Contact, an opportunity for a free shot, and Pretty Banda gets one in for the team. Sometimes you might even ask the questions before they throw the ball for Belvedere, especially from the center. Are they really thinking of where the ball is going to land? Who is the receiver? Now we're going to be having a free pass. From center to goal attack. Definitely back to goal attack. To goal defender, sorry. And it seems to be a lot for her. Seven minutes into the second quarter. Correctional Queens in the lead. If you're just joining us, welcome. This is the Rainbow Netball League. And today we've got Belvedere hosting Correctional Queens here at Belvedere Teachers College. As the host, you would think that they would have the home ground advantage, but it's seeming otherwise, as the visitors seem to be more settled in, they seem to be in control of this game. That was too much even for Pretty Banda, she is tall, but let us be considerate with those overhead passes. Short, neat passes, but it's not proving to be the way to go. By this time around, I feel like they should have changed their tactics. An understanding of your opponent is what you need. If you understand your opponent, you better know how to deal with them. That is what is important. And for any player, for any team, they should have changed tactics by now. Maybe work on a strategy to tire out your opponents. But it seems as though that is not the case. Felicitas Kwanga causing an upset in that goal area and retrieving the ball for Correctional Queens, who are on the move. And the players are opening up as quickly as possible. The goal attack doing a very good job. Tariro Chaora Joy Lindlovu for Correctional Queens, doing a very good job opening up and making sure she's available to receive the ball as close as possible to the goal circle. That was a bad decision taken in by Sandra Mrevesa. She would have opted to pass the ball to Joylene, but she went straight ahead for Pretty Banda, and it went out. But it seems as though a turnover was also acquired during the process, and the goal tally now reads 36-4. How can they hand the ball to Felicitas quite easily? She received it with a smile, or rather it may be a grin on her face. To her confusion as well. They shouldn't be making life easy for these Correctional Queens ladies. Belvedere need to work on a new strategy on how they can keep their opponents at bay. Proper communication between the ladies. Look at that. This is a non-contact sport, but you might be shocked when you watch those World Cups or international tournaments. It gets physical by each stage of the competition, because there is an understanding of what's at stake. There is an understanding of what you can possibly get out of this, and I feel like for these ladies, they need to play with that mentality, with the knowledge that someone might be watching and you might be scouted. Felicitas Kwangwa retrieving that rebound for Correctional Queens. Swift movement in the middle third. An overhead pass straight to wing attack. Fortunate Guranungo. And a throw in as well, which turns into another point on the scoreboard for Correctional Queens. Now, Belvedere seem to be running out of time in the second quarter, as we have reached 12 minutes, with only a few minutes left to make a difference, to reduce the gap, which has grown intensely. It started off as 1 point difference, 4 points difference. Now we are looking at 35 points difference, and they are not doing enough to maybe show us that come the third and fourth quarter, they're going to make a difference. They are not showing enough determination to change their fate and situation. They are giving the defenders, they're giving too much leeway to the goal shooter and goal attack for Correctional Queens to move around the goal area. They are scoring from any position that they would like, of which that should not be the situation. They should be restricting them and making it very hard to score any goal. Look at that defense coming in from Felicitas Kwanga and Amanda Gumiso. They are making it hard for Alice Nyamukata and Tariro Chaora. Contact there. Will it be a free shot? And it is a free shot for Pretty Banda, who fails, but the second attempt is always good. She is someone that you can always put your trust in. Every time she's head to head with the net, she makes sure that she capitalizes on it. That was too much for a very short center pass from Belvedere. Musandipa results in a turnover. And I was about to say another score, but the net proved otherwise. But anyways, Pretty Banda always gets the second one in. The goalkeeper goal defense for Belvedere, they need to be making the runs. They need to be marking their opponents as much as possible, getting those turnovers, those rebounds. We are not seeing much action in their goal area, in their attempt to defend. Crisscross on the court as quickly as possible. Pretty Banda was all alone in that goal area, and she takes the goal tally to 44, which is quite a significant move. We're coming to the end of this second quarter, which has been pretty one-sided, and a substitution just before the halftime whistle. The fresh pair of legs, will she get a taste of the ball before the whistle is blown? We have to wait and see. Center pass coming in from Belvedere. They need to move as quickly as possible as the clock is running out. Now a throw in coming in from Felicitas. And straight, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the fresh pair of legs, or the fresh pair of hands as we'll call them in netball, gets the score and moves it to 46. 4-5 as we now move on to the halftime. 5 minutes. Belvedere coach has a lot on his hands, and I hope his message is heard by the players. Welcome back. We are in the third quarter, or as we say, the second half of what has been quite an interesting game between Correctional Queens and Belvedere. Correctional Queens leading 46-5. I know it speaks a lot to what has been happening on the court. Correctional Queens have been doing almost everything right from the start. They have been passing the ball as quickly as possible. The defense has been tight. The attack, they have been flawless. So as you can see, as I've been saying, the attack as well has been flawless from the start, making sure that it's team effort from start to finish, with Pretty Banda leading on the score line, scoring the majority of the goals. Now we have a new goal attack coming in for Correctional Queens, and I think she's best suited for that supporting role. Now center pass for Belvedere, an opportunity to change the story, and seems like a mistake was made, and it's a turnover for Correctional Queens. Close to goal, the new goal attack misses, but takes advantage of the rebound, hands it over to Pretty Banda, who takes in another one. They're almost reaching that 50 points mark against their opponent, who've only managed to get into the net, only 5 points. And they have done it. They have reached that 50-point half a century, like they call it in cricket. It's always an important milestone. But the story here is different. It's a bit different. Getting half a century in cricket and getting maybe half a century in netball. Throw in coming in from the center. Musandipa, the engine of the team. I don't think we have been seeing much of her from start up until now. She should be the one making those all-important runs, defending, and also helping in the attack. That is why you are the centerpiece of this whole work of art that we have on the court. Pretty Banda back on the score sheet, adding more goals. For Correctional Queens. The new goal attack finding it very hard to following the footsteps of Pretty Banda, who has been accurate and flawless from start up until now. Team effort, teamwork. Was it obstruction or contact? Either way, it's a turnover for Belvedere. Every time they get the ball, I believe they should understand that it is a chance to change their story, to change their fate. Quite an interception coming in from Sandra Murevesa, the center for Correctional Queens, was aided or assisted in the scoring of this 53rd goal for Correctional Queens. Throw in, or is it a free pass? It's a free pass. Being in an opportunity for a free shot, and it's well taken care of by Pretty Banda. We're at it again. We're seeing that they are maintaining their tactics from start up until now. We think they should have changed the majority of the personnel on the court, and maybe they would have had different results. A throw-in coming in for Correctional Queens, who are making it so hard for Belvedere to get any points in this game. Pretty Banda under the net. She always makes sure that it's a goal on their part. This is the Rainbow Netball League, and our motto is empowering the girl child through netball. And as you can see on the court, we've quite an array of women, ladies, girls displaying what to be empowered is all about. It's all about making those decisions, quick decisions, that 3-second rule. It's all about sportsmanship, making sure that you're having fun on the court. It's not all about being serious and winning, but also you need to be enjoying the game. And I believe everyone who is on the court loves the sport and appreciates the sport. But when it comes to enjoying, I'm not so sure about Belvedere ladies, because it's been quite a tough match. 51-point difference between them and Correctional Queens. Back for a restart. Belvedere opting to play back and then forward. They be able to capitalize, but it's a turnover in favor of Correctional Queens. And it seems like right about at this moment they're making us go round in circles. No fruitful movement from either of the two teams, although Correctional Queens has been at the top from start up until now. An opportunity for a free pass or free shot. And there seems to be a foul as well. Pretty Banda face to face with the net, and it's nothing but net for her. She has been accurate. She has been consistent. And all her teammates have her to thank. You might do so well in your defense. You might do so well in your build-up. But you need a crisp shooter. And they have one in Pretty Banda. Belvedere finding it hard to create spaces, opening up, and it seems as though they are wasting time, and that resulted in a turnover in favor of Correctional Queens. Belvedere don't have much time, or they might not see themselves winning in this game, but they can definitely reduce the gap between them and their opponents. The gap has been increased to 54. That is a really huge margin, realizing the fact that we are in the third quarter, the 9th minute of the third quarter, which means that time is quickly slipping out of their hands. And a change of tactics, a change of personnel might prove to be very good for them. But with the way they're throwing the ball around, one might think that they are now dejected. They have lost hope. But they are making it way too easy for Correctional Queens to get into their goal area. The defenders, they are not making the necessary moves. They are not defending their own goal area as much as they should. The center is moving all alone, and she's able to be the bridge between her and the goal shooter, and that resulted in another point being added on their part. Some game or time wasting tactics that we're seeing here, bit of confusion. But I believe the umpire would have been very clear on what the next course of action should have been. But that was a bit of time wasting for Correctional Queens. They seem to have this in the bag. For Belvedere, they need to try and reduce that gap. Restart from the center. Easy 1, 2, 3s is what we have been seeing. Correctional Queens doing everything right from as early as primary school, when we start learning about this sport. Your coach will always tell you, from the center to the goal circle, it has to be 3 passes. And that's how you make sure that every movement is capitalized on. But in this instance, Belvedere have been struggling with those 1s and 2s. They have been making a lot of passes in the middle third, resulting in them fumbling and making mistakes, losing the ball when they are supposed to be very valiant and very on point if they wanted to take advantage of any opportunity that is brought their way. Pretty Banda making use of her height. Those overhead passes have been very important in their attacking third. But on the other hand, bit of squabbling there in Belvedere's attempt to change their story, reduce the gap. And there we have it. Pretty Banda with a free shot. And it's executed perfectly. Nothing but net. We are now at 67 for 7 in favor of Correctional Queens here in the Rainbow Netball League, as we are always talking about empowering the girl child through netball. And I know that you can tell. Pretty Banda is pretty empowered, as you can see that with that smile on her face. She's really enjoying herself. Quite a game this has been for her. And I can say it's team effort. It's been flawless. The defense, the attackers, they've been working well together. But for Belvedere, a bit of miscommunication, misguided passes, not making the right decisions in those crucial moments. It has been very costly for them, not opening up, creating spaces, making it easier for your teammate to pass the ball to you. And they haven't been marking as much as they should. And I think that has attributed to their downfall. Look at that space that Correctional Queens have in the middle third. And that just makes it easier for them to get it to their opponent's goal end. In football, we say that he who controls the midfield controls the game. And we are seeing the same story. Belvedere giving too much space to these Correctional Queens. And there you have it, quite an interception coming in from Amanda Gumiso. And it has also resulted in another goal for them. We're almost coming to the end of this third quarter. Correctional Queens have maintained momentum, have maintained zeal from start up until now. Every tactic in the book, I believe they've managed to use it against Belvedere to get as many points and as many goals as possible. But for Belvedere, they refuse to change. I remember someone saying that he who bends with the wind will not break. So I believe Belvedere just needed to understand the task at hand. Correctional Queens are quite good. They are quite strong, especially on the defense. Their attack has been flawless. They just needed to understand the situation and need to know, maybe find a way how they can adapt to the situation at hand. And now for a throw-in. This might be the last throw-in before we take a break. Nice one. Quick turn and pass, but quite sadly there was no one complimenting her efforts. And now we've come to the end of the third quarter. Please stay with us as we bring you more action in the fourth. What a beautiful day this has been to play netball here in the Rainbow Netball League. And we have Belvedere hosting Correctional Queens here at Belvedere Teachers College. Correctional Queens are leading 73-8. Quite a massive margin that we have over here. Belvedere have been trying, but it hasn't been smooth ride. It hasn't been a smooth ride for them. Hoping they change the story in this last quarter. 15 minutes on the clock. We are counting down till the end. They don't have much time. They don't have many opportunities. They shouldn't be fumbling in these moments of pressure. They should be taking advantage, taking the bull by the horns, and realizing that you need to persevere till the end if you want to be celebrated. But on the other hand, Correctional Queens are just enjoying themselves, passing the ball around, creating spaces, which has been the outcry from my end. on behalf of Belvedere, who are finding themselves in difficult places, difficult sports with those Correctional Queens defenders. It's so hard to score against a team that is so good at defending and so good at attacking. I think from every end they are realizing fruition. They are realizing the fruits of their labor. Center pass. And it's straight to the goal circle. And Pretty Banda gets this one in. As a coach, when you're thinking about who to substitute, who to put to rest, it's so hard to decide against a player like Pretty Banda, who has been so good, and that center, Sandra Mrevesi, who's been opening up spaces. As you can see, one might think she's playing alone in that position because she has been opening up quite well. Tiptoe, 1, 2, 3 into the box, and it's Pretty Banda back to the center. And this time around, Belvedere have an opportunity to change the story. But Correctional Queens have been defending quite well their goal area. They have been protecting, making sure that Belvedere do not score as many goals as possible. As you can see, the restriction is visible. The restriction is there. I don't really have to say much about it because the scoreboard says a lot about this. The goal attack seems as though she was going for a shot, but it was in disguise, straight to the goal shooter, who managed to put this one in the net. Sweet movement. Like I have been saying, you need to know your opponent in order to get around them. That was a sweet pass, playing it backwards, but quite sadly, the goal circle is manned by those two defenders, the goal defender and the goalkeeper, who are not asleep. They have been awake from the first minute up until now, restricting any attempt on goal for Belvedere. And we're seeing that the goalkeeper, Winnet Mbombe, for Belvedere, trying that interception, but to no avail. And it's nothing but net for Correctional Queens. In a game like this, all you do is enjoy yourself. Restart. And an interception coming in there from the goalkeeper, or rather from the goal defender, Amanda Gumiso. What a beauty coming in from the goal attacker. Something so smooth. In some of this competition, they are calling it a super shot, and they would award 2 points for that. She seems very confident. The throw from that goal line. So it is said, in moments like this, when you're winning, that's when you try all of that stuff that you never do during practice. That's where you try it out. Because as we can see, the gap here is pretty huge. And anything goes, especially for Correctional Queens. I believe their star player could be Pretty Banda. She has been flawless. Her accuracy, I believe, could be above 90%. As comparing to how many she has put in the net. And there she is again, above 90% indeed. Now we're interchanging. It's all about opening up spaces, complementing your teammate, making it easier to find someone to pass the ball to. 3 seconds is not a lot of time to make a decision and pass the ball. And it has been quite hard for Belvedere. Look at how much space and how much opportunity that they have, especially for Correctional Queens. In that middle third, they are being given too much space to do whatever they want with the ball. That was simply a mistake, I believe, coming in from Pretty Banda. And there she is at it again. Missed the first opportunity, the second one. It's a make sure. Interception coming in there. Turnover by Correctional Queens. They are on the move. That wing attack was so alone in that position. And there's opportunities where we need to take advantage and score as many as possible. Now we are at 90-8. Quite a magic coming in from Correctional Queens. It's like they are playing their juniors, but they are all ranked in the same league. This is the Rainbow Netball League, producing the finest and the best netball that you could ever watch here in Zimbabwe. And you are seeing that the Correctional Queens are having quite a day of netball. Belvedere only managing to get 9 past Correctional Queens defenders, of which it's not a good number. Looking at the time given up until this point, the opportunities that they weren't able to take advantage of. It is quite sad to see them only getting 9 past Correctional Queens. We are 9 minutes into the final quarter of what has been very much a one-sided game between Belvedere and Correctional Queens. You ask anyone here watching this game, they will tell you that it's a much deserved win for Correctional Queens. But a lot could have been done because the signs were there, especially from the end of Belvedere. From the first quarter, the signs were there that Correctional Queens were not here to play, they were here to win. So they should have made a lot of decisions when it comes to defense and attack as early as the first quarter. And I think we would be singing a different song now. We would be telling a different story and giving a different narrative. Center pass. That was not good enough. You can't really find words for that because we're in the dying embers of the game. And she just turned and threw the ball without really considering where the wing attack would have been. So many opportunities there, but they just need to relax, finish the game well. It's all about how you end the game. They can give us a show of a lifetime by just how maybe they might be able to get 3 past Correctional Queens. It's all about how you play, how you end the game. And Belvedere have an opportunity to give us a show that we're going to talk about for weeks to come now. Trying to get it through to goal opening up spaces. I think they've done so well this time around. They went for that rebound. Quite good coming in from Alice Nyamukapa, going ahead, going after that ball and making sure they capitalize on a rebound. They haven't been doing much of that since the start of the game. Easy passes, opening up, making sure you're making yourself available for your teammate to get the ball to you. And penetrating that goal area, your opponent's goal area, and scoring. Amazing play coming in from Alice Nyamukapa. Like I said, it's always about how you end the game. And what they should have done from start up until now is what they are doing at this very moment. We are left with about 2 minutes and a few seconds to the end of this game. And it seems as though they have taken or heed our wake-up call. And they are now going after the ball. They are marking their opponent, going after those rebounds, prying for those turnovers. It's quite exciting what men can do once they are motivated and empowered. Look at that interception coming in from that goal defense. Dorothy Zayemba pushing, getting into that goal. Nice attempt. It doesn't go in. For that rebound is Amanda Gumiso. It has gotten quite interesting in the last minutes of what has been a one-sided game. Anyone who comes through and watches this game in this only few minutes would think that they are at par when it comes to the points that are there on the scoreboard. But the scoreboard is speaking a different story. 97-11, Correctional Queens in the lead. Belvedere prying and trying to get something, reduce that gap, but we are known maybe to motivate or encourage other players, but this time around, I think they listened to the alarm way too late into the game. 14 minutes and counting until the final whistle. And we're back to the center. And Belvedere are in charge of this one. The ones and twos that we've been looking for. That was too much for the wing defender, Rejoice Maponga. Pretty Banda missing that one. Back to the goal attack. Seems as though there was a foul, obstruction. Goal attack has an opportunity for a free shot, and she makes it 99. We're about to hit 100 here with just a few seconds left. And Pretty Banda face to face with the net, and she doesn't disappoint. Rainbow Netball League brings you the best of netball. As you can see, Belvedere hosting Correctional Queens here at Belvedere Teachers College. We're almost coming to the end of what has been an exciting game. 100-12 is how the scoreboard reads. And now we're being called back to the center, or is it's a free pass in favor of Belvedere. Swift movement straight into the goal area. That is what they should be doing, going after that rebound and scoring. Quite enterprising netball that we are seeing only in the last minutes of the game. They should have given us this show from the start, given Correctional Queens a run for their money. But it hasn't been so. Pretty Banda making it a 101 for 13. Quite exceptional performance. Both elements, the attack, the defense, has been flawless. Proper communication, opening up, and making sure they're making themselves available to receive the ball, I think has contributed to their success for Belvedere. That lack in tenacity when it comes to their attacking three, and also the defenders not being up to the task has definitely been detrimental in their campaign today. 102 for 13. That's a really big number there. Huge margin. You can do the maths. We're back in the goal circle for Correctional Queens. An attempt to score from the goal shooter, Alice Nyamkapa. Now we're moving. Now it is actually the end of what has been an awesome game between Correctional Queens and Belvedere. Correctional Queens getting 102 for 13 against Belvedere. Thank you for joining us.